They set out chasing a dream, the promise of golden land in California. But what awaited them was snow, starvation, and the unimaginable. This is the true story of the Donner Party, the pioneers who ate the dead to survive. 87 men, women, and children began their journey full of hope. By the time rescue arrived, only 48 remained, and some of them had survived by consuming human flesh. In the spring of 1846, families from Illinois packed their wagons and joined what was called the Donner Party. Their destination, California, a land of gold farms, an endless opportunity. They followed the Oregon Trail for months, crossing plains, rivers, and desert. But impatience would soon seal their fate. A guidebook by a man named Lansford Hastings promised a shortcut Hastings Cutoff said to save 300 miles. What he didn't say was that he'd never traveled it himself. In July, the Donner Party took Hastings' route through the Great Salt Lake Desert. It was a trap. For 5 scorching days, oxen collapsed, wagons broke, and water ran dry. Families threw away furniture, books, and food to survive. When they finally escaped the desert, they'd lost weeks of precious time, and winter was coming. By the time they reached the Sierra Nevada mountains in October, the first snow had already begun to fall. Snowstorms came fast. In a single night, snow piled 10 feet high, sealing off the mountain pass. The Donner Party was trapped. They built makeshift cabins near Truckee Lake, now known as Donner Lake. Food supplies vanished quickly. Hunger drove them to boil leather, eat ox hides, and chew on bark. One diary entry read, "We are now reduced to eating rawhide. God help us all." As days turned into weeks, people began to die one by one. Children froze beside their mothers, and when food ran out completely, the unthinkable happened. They began eating the dead. First, they took the bodies of those who'd already died. Then, in the darkness of starvation and madness, lines blurred between survival and sin. One survivor later confessed, "We tried to pray, but hunger is stronger than faith." In December 15, of the strongest set out on foot to find help. They became known as the Forlorn Hope. They walked through blizzards, blind from snow, starving. When one man died, they ate him to stay alive. When another froze, they wept and ate again. By the time they stumbled out of the mountains, only 7 remained. They brought news of the trapped camp and what they had done. In February 1847, the first rescue party reached the Donner camp. What they found was unspeakable. Corpses lay half-eaten beside snow-covered cabins. Children with hollow eyes waited beside bones. Some survivors had kept human meat hidden under blankets, one rescuer wrote. "Never before have I seen such misery, nor do I wish to again." In total, 4 separate rescue missions were needed. Each time they arrived, more had died and more had been eaten. When the survivors finally reached California, they were met not with celebration, but silence. Their stories spread fast, whispered with horror. Of the 87 who left Illinois, only 48 survived. Almost every survivor had eaten human flesh. Historians still debate who was to blame. The reckless guide, the brutal winter, or human pride that refused to turn back. Today, the Sierra Nevada stands silent, but every winter, as snow falls over Donner Lake, the wind carries their memory. A warning of how fragile humanity becomes when hope freezes.